Hi, Pastor Mike here. I want to challenge you to have some fun with the Word of God today. I want to encourage you to do a scientific experiment. Psalm 34:8 says, "Taste and see the Lord is good." And King David is basically saying, try it God's way, you'll enjoy it. And so what I want to encourage you to seek the Lord's will for your life and for your family, however you have it set up, and see if you don't enjoy doing it God's way better. I want to pick up in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 15. Paul says this, "Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is." I want to encourage you to understand what the Lord's will is, specifically for all of us, regardless of our family's structure or marital situation, is knowing the Word of God. Jesus says in the Gospels, "If you love me, you'll obey my commands." So I want to strongly encourage you. Make sure you're reading through the Scriptures, even if it's just a few verses a day. Continue to learn the Scriptures. Now, specifically for those of us that are in a family, whether you're a husband, wife, a child, and some of us are in multiple families. I'm a son, I'm a father, I'm a brother, in multiple family settings. There's some scriptural commands here that tell us how to deal with one another. And what I want to encourage you is try these. Try it for 1 week and see if you don't enjoy yourself more. I'm going to pick up here in verse 31 for brevity, and Paul is going to write this in Ephesians 5:31. "For this reason a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh." This is a profound mystery, but I'm talking about Christ and the church. "However, each of you must love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must respect her husband." So I want to challenge my brothers, as you love your wife, think about the example of Jesus and how as the good shepherd, he laid down his life for his sheep. And in a similar way, we have to lay down our lives. We have to die to ourselves. Now, fortunately, most of the time, that doesn't mean physically dying, although it could if we're protecting our family. But as you approach your wife, to think about setting your own needs aside, setting your life aside in order to serve her. And Jesus is the ultimate example of this. He does it, and he does it without hesitation, and he does it without regret, without resentment. He gives fully of himself. And in that way, we're supposed to love our wives. It says to the wives to respect their husbands. Now, I understand every family is different, and you may be going through something right now, but I want to challenge you, however well-behaved, however Christ-like your husband has been or has not, I want to challenge you to respect him this week and see how things go. And my sneaking suspicion is that as you respect him, he'll be both more respectable, where you'll want to respect him more, but also more respectful towards you and children that you might have. Finally, stretching into chapter 6 here, we'll cheat forward just a little bit more. Picking up in verse 1, he writes to children. And this is advice to adult or children still in the house. It says, "Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with a promise, so that it may go well with you and you may enjoy a long life on the earth." And I don't know what that looks like for you. It might be simply obeying your parents, especially if you're young children still in the house, or it may mean picking up the phone to Skype or FaceTime with your folks. But I want to challenge you to find creative ways to obey and to honor and to love your parents this week. I pray that you'll take this biblical challenge, and that for 7 days from the time you hear this, regardless whether you find yourself husband, wife, child, that you'll take this experiment, and like King David wrote in Psalm 34:8, you'll taste and see the Lord is good. Try it his way, you'll enjoy it. God bless you. I hope you've enjoyed Ephesians chapter 1 through 5. We want to encourage you to subscribe so you know when we hang chapter 6, and you're not going to want to miss this one. Our video gamers know how important it is to up-armor your character for the fights they have in the video games. But for the fight of life, you're going to want to have the armor of God. And it's important to remember that our fight is not against one another, but it's a spiritual battle. And that's why it's so important that we have the armor of God on. So be sure to join us for that. God bless you and keep you.